You are tuned to the General Overseas Service of All India Radio. We now bring you a commentary on economic recovery underway to retrieve the growth ground. It is scripted by G. Srinivasan, senior economic journalist. With the advent of autumn, the domestic economy is appearing to show some positive signs of stirrings in the real sectors. This is conclusively borne out by the latest review of the Department of Economic Affairs, Ministry of Finance, released recently. Caught in the crucial battle to reduce the massive uncertainty about COVID-19, while persisting with the challenging task of emergency reliefs to the hardest hit sections and sectors of the economy, the government had to resort to stringent lockdowns. This, the review noted, resulted in the sharp contraction of 23.9% in the gross domestic product (GDP) growth rate in the April-June quarter of the fiscal 2020-21. But this also helped to restrain the pandemic-spurred death rate to one of the lowest in the world given our huge population. As a corollary to the proactive preventive procedure, the economy is now witnessing a sharp V-shaped recovery. In technical parlance, this means that the economy suffers a brief spell of decline with a clearly defined trough followed by a strong recovery. The review contended that as most countries the world over began unlocking to resume activities in the quarter beginning July, recovery is underway globally, with India too logging a sharp V-shaped recovery. Various high-frequency indicators that point to V-shaped recovery include, among others, auto sales, tractor sales, fertilizer sales, railway freight traffic, steel consumption and production, e-way bills, GST revenue collection, daily toll collection on highways, retail financial transactions, manufacturing producers, manufacturing items (PMI), performance of core industries, capital flows and exports. The Union Minister for Commerce and Industry, Mr. Piyush Goyal too, said at a meeting with Export Promotion Councils (EPCs) earlier that the country's exports as well as imports are showing positive trends as the outbound shipment are approaching last year's levels, after making a sharp dip in April this year due to the pandemic. As per the Finance Ministry review, the worst seems to be well behind us as high-frequency indicators reveal an improvement from June onwards. Even as the macroeconomic indicators move towards the path of the V-shaped recovery, uncertainty still persists because of the pandemic and the concomitant impact on the discretionary demand the ministry maintains in the review by way of abundant caution. Corroborating this, the review pertinently pointed out that unlike previous crises that originated from economic factors, the uncertainty in the current crisis stems from health factors originating from the pandemic. As a result, the uncertainty on discretionary items is likely to influence recovery. However, it qualifies the premise that the arrival of the COVID vaccine would signal the end of this uncertainty and bring back discretionary consumption to pre-COVID levels. The review also emphasized that risk-taking sentiment has returned with global and domestic equity markets on an untamed recovery path, reaching pre-COVID highs and recouping most of their losses. Indian companies have raised a record $31 billion in equity capital in 2020, with banks reinforcing their balance sheets to prepare for future economic uncertainty and corporates tapping into the elevated liquidity levels. Foreign appetite to lap up Indian equities has risen sharply, with investors from abroad buying $10.3 billion of new shares in the 3 months, June to August, with the quality of issuers in the market from the top 100 companies. For the agrarian sector, which is the sole exception to the overall steep contraction in the GDP by clocking a growth rate of 3.4% year-on-year in April to June, the global food price inflation is moving to the positive zone. This is a salutary development for domestic farmers prior to the harvest season for the Kharif crops, bringing terms of trade to their benefits. With the economic engine slowly but surely restarting, the stakeholders in the real sectors remain confident that the requisite supportive policies of the government, duly backed by financial and fiscal props, would be in place. That was a commentary, Economic Recovery Underway to Retrieve the Growth Ground. It was scripted by G. Srinivasan, senior economic journalist, and read by Kaushik Rai. This broadcast came to you from the General Overseas Service of All India Radio.
We present the intriguing game of numbers, the mystery of number calculation solved in seconds. So be ready with your pen and paper and let your mind explore the world of numbers.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Playing with numbers.
Playing with numbers for the maths lovers and developers. To learn the solution in a few seconds, special types and lengthy questions under the guidance of teacher's teacher, Maths Wizard Ashok Kumar Roy.
Today, in this episode, we will find out the value of 107 square. For the value of 107 square, we will make two boxes from left to right. From left side, in the first box, we will write 107 plus 7, which will be 114 in 3 digits. So in the first box from left side, we have 3 digits 114, and in the second box from left side, or in the first box from right side, we will have 7 square, which will be in 2 digits 49.
Now it's turn to find out the value of 107 square. For it, in the first step, we will calculate 107 plus 7, which will be 114 for the first box from left, and in the second step, for the right box, we will keep in our mind the value of 7 square in 2 digits, that is 49.
So, the final answer of 107 square will be in 5 digits, and we will write it from left side. So from left side, the final answer of 107 square will be 114 and 49. So 11449 will be the final answer of 107 square.
Finally, we will put both the 3-digit numbers 114 and assumed 2-digit number 49 in both boxes from left to right respectively to get the value of 107 square. Thus, as a result, we have the value of 107 square as 11449. This program was conceptualized and produced by Monica Gulati, assisted in production by Divya Nambishan, and narrated by Lucy Gabriel.
Hello friends, my name is Ritvi. This is what I am doing. I am joining my hands. This is the best way doing hello in COVID time. And before COVID was not in Earth, Earth was like this because we were polluting Earth. We were cutting trees. But in COVID time, Earth started healing herself. Air is so fresh. There is many greenery. Sky beautiful. And when we were not going out, that's why the environment, wow! So we will pledge that we will never cut tree, we will never hurt environment, we will care it, and then environment will also bless you. So friends, care environment. That's all for today. Okay friends, bye bye. We will meet in next video.
Hello and welcome to Folk Tales from India. And continuing with our stories from Panchatantra Tales, we begin with this Panchatantra story titled The Man with Two Wives. A middle-aged man had two wives. One of them was young and vibrant, while the other was elderly, reserved, and a bit conservative. The young wife wanted her husband to look younger than what he was, so she used to pluck the grey hair from his head every day. On the other hand, the other wife preferred her husband to look his own age. Vying with the young wife, she would pluck the black hair from her husband's head every day. The man was happy to have equal attention from his two wives. But one fine morning he found to his utter dismay that there was no hair on his head at all. The moral: if you get influenced by conflicting choices, you often end up having no choice at all. The next folk tale is titled The Ass, the Cock and the Lion. Long ago, an ass and a cock used to live together in a farmyard. One day a lion was about to pounce on the poor animal when the cock saw what was happening and crowed loudly. The lion took fright at the sudden noise and chose to take to his heels. The ass, noticing the lion running away, was much amused. He thought it would fetch him great honor if he chased the king of the forest. So he ran after the lion, but suddenly the beast turned and pounced on him. The ass lost his life then and there. The moral: presumption begins in ignorance and ends in ruin. The third Panchatantra story is titled The Travellers and the Hatchet. Two friends were walking along a road when they suddenly found a hatchet lying under a nearby bush. "Oh, look what I have found," one of them exclaimed. His friend replied, "Don't say I, say we. As a matter of fact, we both have found the hatchet." As they argued, the man to whom the hatchet belonged came searching in their direction. The moment he saw them holding his hatchet, he cried, "Thieves! So you are the ones who took my hatchet." As the two friends stood quietly, the man repeatedly started accusing them of stealing. The one who had found the hatchet first said to the other, "Alas, we are now done for." This time his friend said, "Don't say we, say I am done for." The moral: those who do not share their fortunes have no right to share their troubles either. The next folk tale is titled The Old Man and Death. An old man was walking a long distance with a heavy bundle of sticks. He was tired and soon collapsed to the ground. He threw his bundle of sticks away, saying, "O Death, please come and take me away. I am old and tired and cannot carry on any more." Death heard his prayers and appeared before him in the form of a dark, somber figure. "I am Death. Were you calling me? Do you want me to take you along with me?" he asked. The old man was awed at his sight. He started stammering in fear and said, "No, no, sir, I do not want you to take my life. I just called you to help me pick up the bundle of sticks that is lying there on the ground." The moral: it is one thing to call death and another to actually die. And now a Panchatantra tale titled The Stallion and the Poor Ass. A proud stallion was on his way to the battlefield when he came upon an ass crossing the road. The sight of the bulky animal blocking his way
threw the stallion into a temper. "Move away from my path right now, you stupid beast, or I will trample you," he shouted. The ass felt insulted, but said nothing and gently moved towards the other side of the road. A few days later, the ass met the same stallion walking down the same road. Things had changed since the first time they met. The war was over, and the stallion's noble, caring master was dead. The stallion himself was wounded, lame, and almost blind. He was carrying a heavy load and was being whipped mercilessly by his new master. The moral: the path of contempt does not lead to glory. The sixth folk tale is titled The Moon and Her Cloak. One day the moon said to her mother, "Mother, please make a cloak for me. It must fit me well." Her mother replied, "How can I make a cloak for you? It is impossible." The moon was annoyed. "Why? I too feel like dressing up sometimes," she cried. Her mother replied, "Yes, my child, but your case is completely different." The moon asked, "Why is that so?" Her mother said, "See, right now you are small and in the new moon stage. You will go on to become a bigger full moon, and in the coming days you will neither be completely big nor small. No gown in the world can ever fit you well." And now a Panchatantra tale titled The Sun's Marriage. It was a hot summer day when all the creatures of the earth got to hear a rumor that the sun was soon going to tie the nuptial knot. They were all beside themselves with joy. The frogs too were overjoyed and celebrated the happy news with umpteen leaps in the water. An old toad came up with a serious face and reminded them that it was an occasion of sorrow rather than of joy. "My friends, why are you so happy? Is the news really something we should be celebrating? A single sun scorches us with such blazing heat. Think of the time when there will be a dozen kids of the sun. Our plight on the earth will become more than double, and we may not survive at all." The next folk tale is titled The Ass's Shadow. A man hired an ass with a driver for a long journey on a hot summer day. After travelling some distance, he dismounted from the ass and lay down to rest in its shadow. The driver of the ass, however, got angry at this. "Sir," he said, "I cannot allow you to take sole advantage of my ass. I have as much right to rest in its shadow as you." "How on earth can you make such a claim?" the man shot back. "I will enjoy this privilege alone, as I have hired the ass and it belongs to me for the entire day." "No," said the driver, "you hired the ass but not the shadow. I will not let you enjoy it, no matter what you say." As they quarrelled on, the ass took to its heel and ran away. The moral: quarrelling about shadows, we often lose sight of the substance. And finally, a folk tale titled The Ass and the Lapdog. There lived a man who used to keep an ass and a lapdog as pets. The lapdog was his favorite, and he indulged it all the time. The ass, on the other hand, was made to toil hard. He would carry heavy loads of wood, but all he got was a drab meal at the end's day. The ass wanted to have good food like the dog. One day he went to the kitchen and broke all the dishes in a desperate attempt to find good food. When the master came in, the donkey jumped on him and started licking him like the lapdog. The master screamed for his servants. They rushed up and beat the donkey half dead. As he lay bleeding, he sighed, "Alas, why did I not stay content with what I was being offered? In my zeal to ape the lapdog, I completely forgot that we are not meant to be in this world for the same purpose." And with that, we conclude this program of folk tales from India, in which you heard Panchatantra stories.